I want to compliment the Cocoa Tigers. They won the championship after finishing the season 15-0. It was the Atlantic Coast Youth Athletics Association. And they beat the Thoroughbreds 26-6. I mean, they didn't just beat them, they ran over them. And the Thoroughbreds were from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now I want to introduce you to 8 of the Thoroughbreds. And here they are. You look at the Thoroughbreds and you find out, what were they doing? What were they doing on Saturday morning? Well, let me tell you what they were doing. They Ubered from where they were staying. They had come from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to the Dick's Sporting Good in Posner Park. Not only did they Uber down there to shop, they had no intentions of paying for their product. So they came into the store in 2 groups, and they began to systematically steal product. And that's exactly what they did. They stole, and they stole, and they stole, and they stole, and
they came with a plan. They came with a plan.
How do you like that? This is everything that they stole.
Whoa.
And guess what? As we've said before, you can't go any place, anytime, that you're not on a camera. So Dick's Sporting Goods knows that they're stealing because they're watching this systematic, organized theft ring called a football team.
Seriously?
Now, not only did they steal 47 items, not only did they steal 47 items, but ostensibly they may have cost their team the championship and the football game, because
are you kidding me?
I don't know if these all were starters or not, but I can tell you that we were finishers. We arrested them. We took them to the Juvenile Assessment Center, and we put them in lockup. But I want to introduce you to their coach. His name's Raynon Bynes, B-Y-N-E-S. So when we notify the coach who is responsible for them, you would think he would be interested in holding them accountable and responsible. Instead, he goes to the deputies and begs them not to take these young men into custody. Oh,
what?
Don't arrest them. Drop the charges. Let them go.
What?
And then when we said no, then they go to Dick's Sporting Goods, to the manager, and said, oh, don't charge them. Don't charge them. They were not taking bubble gum, one piece to chew. They stole over $2,000 worth of products, over 47 different products they stole.
This is the kind of thing that, that you see happening again and again. And you wonder why people keep repeating crimes. It is because of coaches and parents like this. They essentially run cover for disorderly, ratchet kids who have zero consequences. And then they grow up believing that the system will always be there to kind of cut them a break, give them a break. And then they keep making bigger mistakes until they wind up dead. Okay? Well, I just played this because, there's always a video that I play to prime the live stream. People don't usually join straight off the bat. Okay? So these 8 teens who were meant to be at a football game were busy stealing and got arrested. So let me know what you think in the chat, okay? Like, his take is hilarious, okay? Sheriff Judd's takes are always hilarious. Now, Trump got some good news today, but let's start out with what the Democrats claimed that Trump would do, because they claim that when Trump got back into office, in fact, here's what Biden said about Trump and gas prices, okay? And and other things that he wanted to blame on Trump. So let's have a listen.
The companies running gas stations and setting those prices at the pump bring down the prices.
The OPEC nations to
pump more oil. Let me start with the Putin price hike, high gas prices, and energy prices. First of all, the significant reason why prices are up is because of COVID affecting the supply chain.
So Biden blames everyone, including Trump, for high gas prices. Okay, but then AOC tells voters this and tells them that if Trump gets back in office, here's what's going to happen.
On the economic point, we just saw that the former president met with oil executives last week saying, hey, you give me $1 billion and I'll make sure that you get the policies that are favorable to raising gas prices and making sure that that a lot of these companies continue to price gouge without proper oversight or regulation. And so the idea that he'd be bringing those down when he's cashing in from the same folks that are bringing those prices up, I think is a little bit suspect. And again, I think the Bronx sees.
So AOC claimed that if Trump got back into office, that he was going to raise gas prices. In fact, she accused him of collaborating with oil executives to raise gas prices. All right. Now, take a wild guess how much the average gas price is today. Take a wild guess. Under Joe Biden, it rose as high as $5 a gallon. How much is it today? Okay. Today, it's averaging $2.75, but it's lower in some parts of the country. Have a listen.
Yeah, we opened the Fox 31 video hall today to find that story. This was June of 2001. Drivers complaining about gas prices at the time hovering around $1.70 or $1.80 a gallon. Tonight, we're finding that again. Our crews spotted one gas station, this one near Evans in Quebec, advertising $1.69 a gallon, and this time drivers are not complaining at all.
All right, so hear this clearly. Back in 2021. Was that 2021 or 2001? In 2001, gas prices were hovering around $1.80. Okay, in 2001.
Complaining about gas prices at the time hovering around $1.70 or $1.80 a gallon. Tonight, we're finding that again. Our crews spotted one gas station, this one near Evans in Quebec, advertising $1.69 a gallon, and this time drivers are not complaining at all. Fox 31's Anna Kuhn with what's behind.
In some parts of the country, $1.69. So where's AOC to actually, do her victory lap on the raised gas prices? She accused President Trump of collaborating with his billionaire buddies who run gas companies, who run oil companies, that we're going to raise the gas prices. That President Trump was going to create policies that made it possible for them to, price gouge at the pumps. Well, what's happening here, okay? What's happening here?
Gas is $1.69 a gallon right now at the Quick Trip on the corner of East Evans and South Monaco Street. That's the cheapest price you'll find across the state, according to Gas Buddy, and also one of the cheapest in the entire country.
There was a long wait line at a Denver Shell station this afternoon on the corner of East Evans and South Quebec Street.
It's surprising to see the lines. I've never seen this line before.
All those drivers looking to fill up the tank at just $1.69 a gallon.
Since I've learned to drive, I don't know if I've ever.
Look, okay, so let's know your thoughts in the chat, okay? We're looking at President Trump's policies. And you know what? While all of these wins are happening, the media and the Democrats want to distract you with, oh, President Trump is bombing innocent fishermen who are trying to catch fish in the Gulf of America. Oh, that's a war crime. Or they're over here claiming that ICE is arresting American citizens. Or they're over there claiming that that Epstein files are being hidden. We're going to look at some of those claims tonight. Okay? President Trump's policies are clearly yielding fruit. And the Democrats don't like it. And because they can see that it's effective, they're coming up with accusations that try to make it look like President Trump's policies aren't working or they're failing. You have Mark Kelly, who is ever in the news. He puts his face out there and he says President Trump should pay attention to inflation and to the high cost of living. Meanwhile, gas prices are the lowest they've ever been. In 2001, it was at $1.80 a gallon. Today, in some parts of the country, is $1.69. Amazing. Now, here's CNN trying to gaslight and trying to corner Dan Muser with a very dumb take. Okay, so let's have a listen.
But, you know, you say, look at the groceries, it hasn't gone up all that much. But when you talk to Americans, and I'm sure you've been hearing from constituents, according to this Fox News national survey, large numbers overall and among Republicans say their costs for groceries, utilities, healthcare, and housing have gone up this year. Even if you dispute whose fault it is for the current economic state, it's President Trump, right, who is now in office.
What?
Voters are looking at him to bring relief. And you have this conservative-leaning tax.
This is why I don't like these polls. I don't like these polls. I don't trust these polls because the same polls told us that Kamala Harris was leading, that she was going to trounce President Trump in a landslide. And what happened on election night? She got beaten, not just the electoral vote, but also the popular vote. Okay, so those polls are skewed to make it look like, certain details are different from what they really are.
Tax Foundation saying that his own policies, the tariff policy, has raised the average American household's cost this year by $1,200. So what do you say to Americans who feel like President Trump overpromised and underdelivered on the economy when he campaigned saying, I alone can fix it?
Yeah. Well, Pamela, there's a lot of data that shows that wages have increased more than inflation this year. So that certainly addresses the affordability end of things. And look, regarding trade, we were just simply getting taken advantage of. We've had one of the lowest trade deficits ever, very recently came out. GDP is strong. Look, we need to be a supply side economy. I know that's a term from the Reagan days. And by the way, it took Ronald Reagan 2 years, not 1 year, as we think we've addressed inflation, still needs to come down. And the cost increases that occurred during the Biden administration, which was 20%. There's no getting around that. It was 20% increases, need to be further mitigated. But the trade policies, look, we mentioned eggs prices down. I sometimes say you got to break a few eggs in order to make an omelet. So what we've had to do is create new trade agreements. And that was a little bit tough with China, with Europe, with India, with these trading partners that were charging us 60, 70%, and we were charging them 3%. So as these trade deals get created, as opposed to tariffs, we know there's going to be some new markets opened up and should really drive American production even higher than just our own consumers.
Oh, well, in short, wages are rising faster than inflation. Okay, we just saw a report, gas prices are going down. And President Trump predicted that as long as gas prices go down, the cost of groceries will follow because the cost of moving those groceries from the manufacturers to the supermarkets and the shelves will drop. Okay, so we're going to see more good news coming from the market if the Democrats don't sabotage everything that President Trump is working on. All right, so don't forget you can leave your comments in the chat. Now, coming up, not next, but coming up, Trump wins a bombshell ruling, and we're going to be covering that soon. So please stay tuned. But leave your thoughts in the chat concerning this good news about the cost of gas dropping. And then what do you think? Do you think that the cost of groceries are going to follow soon? And if yes, how soon do you think they're going to follow? Let me know in the chat. So remember I said that whenever there's some good news happening, the Democrats try to deflect by talking about something else that isn't actually happening. For example, the the narco boats that are being blown up in the Gulf of America that are trying to get to the United States, from Venezuela. Now we've had Democrat after Democrat behaving like they were elected to defend the citizens of Venezuela, all right, the narco terrorists of Venezuela. And here's yet another person in the Democrat Party doing the exact same thing. Sometimes I wonder if these people are actually Americans or they are actually sleeper cell agents from Venezuela trying to make sure that they get the Venezuela first policies pushed through, just like Ilhan Omar and her Somalian politicians, because there are a bunch of them in office who are there not representing their constituents, but representing a different country. So let's have a listen to what Adam Smith has to say about the fact that 200,000 deaths in the U.S. each year from fentanyl-laced cocaine isn't a problem, because, I mean, why are you treating the cocaine supply as the problem? You know, it's absurd to believe that poisoned cocaine is the reason why we should be trying to stop these things from crossing into the country. Let's have a listen to the insanity.
But even worse than that, the notion is that cocaine still could have gotten to the United States, and they're treating that cocaine like it's a weapon. Basically, they're treating that image of those two people on that boat like a situation where, I don't know, you see a car bomb headed towards an embassy or something. Right. It's struck. It seems like it's incapacitated, but is it incapacitated? We don't know. There's still a couple people there. Maybe they can complete the mission. Maybe they can get that bomb to the building and blow it up. And that, too, is kind of absurd.
Again, stupid take, dumb. And essentially, look, these guys are. I'm really doing my best to try and be a Christian. If you were here this afternoon and you saw the exchange with some of the people on the backup channel who were chatting like bots, I essentially had to stop responding to them because it was one way or the other. It was either I ignored them or I began to really go down hard on them. And I'm trying really hard to speak very charitably about people. But these ideas are stupid ideas, okay? They are retarded ideas. He's claiming that the supply of drugs that have been linked to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans is not a problem. It doesn't warrant the escalation of force that the United States is applying to this situation, just like those characters that came on the live stream to chat about it and try to make it look like, that wasn't really an issue. Okay, so let me know what you think in the chat. So before we move forward, okay, we have Canary King in the chat. Greetings, Canary King. Thank you for being a part of the chat. So let me know your thoughts about the stories we've covered so far. Yes, the story coverage about the criminals who came to play a football match or a football game, left the football game to go rob a store or to shoplift at a store. Okay, let me know your thoughts about the fact that the coach wanted them to be released because, of course, they're all black kids. You need to give them a chance. And giving them a chance is what? Letting them skate through life with no consequences. That's how you create criminals. Okay. And then let me know what you think of all of the accusations that the Democrat Party, starting from Joe Biden and AOC and even CNN, trying to make it look like President Trump's economic policies aren't working. But now we see that what he said about drilling for oil and making sure that there was a healthy supply of oil in the marketplace is essentially affecting the price of gasoline. And if the price of gas is falling, it means that eventually the price of groceries will drop. All right. Janet says, in my opinion, the Democrats are a criminal organization. Well, I agree completely. I agree completely because here's the thing, okay? This is when you have Democrats encouraging obstruction, okay? The obstruction of the enforcement of federal law. You have Democrats that are defending the rights of criminals to be in the country, the right of criminals to be released into the population to continue to commit their crimes. When you have Democrats screaming that executing people bringing weapons of mass destruction into the United States is a war crime. All right. These people have essentially brought in enough drugs to cause the deaths of over 200,000 American citizens. That is 200 9/11s. And then all they do is just run cover for criminals, Marxists, illegal aliens. That's all they do. And now you have politicians like Adam Smith essentially trying to protect narco-terrorists. I agree with you, Janet. They are essentially a criminal organization. They are. I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. Janet says, I wouldn't be surprised if they were working with Mexican cartels and narco-terrorists, but they were. They were. Governor Abbott tried to block the border, the Mexican border last year, if you can remember. And the Democrat-led government sent dozers to remove the barbed wire fences and raised a lawsuit against the state of Texas because they were trying to defend their borders. Can't you remember that? I mean, look, so much has happened. It feels like another life that we had a president that actively encouraged an invasion in the southern border. Okay, it feels like like it was a dream. I watched this. These were the things that I was watching, and I felt like I was losing my mind. I don't know if you can remember that. All of these things happened. The Democrats encourage it. And you know what? Now that they've brought in all of these undocumented immigrants, okay, I don't like that word undocumented because it seems like they forgot their wallet at home. They broke into the country. They are illegal aliens. All right. And then President Trump is trying to fix the mess that the Democrats and Joe Biden created. And they're calling him a fascist and a racist for enforcing federal law. It's insane. It's crazy. All right. Thanks, Janet, for the chat. And keep the chats coming. Keep the chats coming. If you've watched so long and you enjoy the tone of the content that we create here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon, okay? And subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. Leave a like, okay? Leave a like. A like tells YouTube that you enjoy this content, and people like you who enjoy certain types of content should see this video. So hit the thumbs up button. That's the like. And YouTube will let more people know about the content that we're talking about here. Now, the chat is very important, okay? So even if all you do is leave a thumbs up or say hi or tell us where you're chatting from or tell us how your day went, look, just let us know what's going on with you. Dip your toe in. The chat is fun to be around, okay? So just go ahead and let your opinions be known. Of course, we would like to know your thoughts on the stories that we're covering, but anything else that you have to say is welcome because we're trying to build a community where we support each other. All right. And I want to throw this in. And, okay, if you're someone who's going through a hard time and you feel like you want us to pray for you. Last week, I think it was last week or the week before, we prayed for the National Guardsmen who were shot at. Of course, Sarah died, okay, unfortunately, but her partner is still is in recovery, and I think he's been able to open his eyes. So if you have a situation that you feel, okay, hey, I'm going through a hard time, could you pray about this with me? We will pray with you, okay? I mean, I want this to be something fun, okay? Not just about stupid policies and statements that Democrats make or wins about Trump. In between, we should be able to have times where we support each other. And hey, if we can't support each other, then who will? So leave a thought. Hey, I need prayer for this. Put it in the chat, and then at some point during the live stream, we'll pray with you. I mean, I'm a person of faith. I believe God answers prayer. If you don't want prayer, I mean, then that's fine. But I don't believe in saying I'm sending thoughts and prayers. I'm going to pray with you right here on the live stream and believe that the situation you're dealing with gets fixed. Okay, so if you like that idea of praying with you or with people about their situations, tell me in the chat. Say yes, give me a thumbs up, say you're supportive of it, because I believe that we're also in a time where we need a lot of prayer. All right, so let's jump to the next story. Okay, a very controversial statement was made during the cabinet meeting yesterday. All right, and that is that the U.S. government will stop sending taxpayer dollars to countries that hate the United States. Okay, isn't that surprising? Like, it's controversial. Democrats hate it. They want the money to go to people that hate us so that they can use that money against us. Imagine the Somalian population sending money to Al-Shabaab, a terrorist organization that hates America. All right, that's what Democrats want. Now let's hear Marco Rubio talk about this new policy, which should have been a standing policy of the American government.
The president views the last 40 years as an era of which American workers and American farmers have been ripped off. They've been ripped off, and what he's saying is we want to have a trade with the world, but it has to be a trade in which American businesses and American workers and the products they make and what American farmers grow and produce has a fair shot to be sold around the world. On issue after issue, that's been the case. You talk about foreign aid reforms. This is not our money. This is taxpayer money. When the president has said is we're going to do foreign aid, but we're going to do foreign aid for countries that are aligned with the United States and in a way that doesn't waste the taxpayers' money.
All right. Now, do you agree with Marco Rubio that taxpayer funds should only go to countries that love the United States? Let me know in the chat. All right. Now, I have a poll that's running on both channels. I need to know your thoughts about the poll. I'm asking a question. All right. The question is, do you want the call-in feature activated tonight? And I'm getting results. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in 10 minutes. Okay, in 10 minutes, I'm going to close the poll. And based on the results of the poll, I am going to respond by either making the call-in link available for you guys to call in. Now, when you call in, all right, you're going to do one of two things. One, you're either going to respond or react to a news story that connects with you, and you're like, hey, here's your take, but I either agree or disagree with this position, or this is an angle you didn't consider. And then the other side of it is you could also bring up a story that you think would be great to include in this live stream. So take the poll at 9:38. Eastern time. I'm going to close the poll, and then I'm going to take action. Okay. So I would love to have you guys jump on the live stream. Let's have some fun tonight. Okay. So let me know what you think about Marco Rubio's statement about not giving taxpayer money to people who hate the United States. I think it's common sense. I don't think it's hateful. I think it's just perfectly fine. And I think it should be a policy that should have always been, acted on. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to be reacting to the chat. Okay. So just keep the chat coming because I really want to get through this next video. All right. And then I would open up the chat. So keep the chat coming. All right. I see you. And I'm going to be responding soon to that. Now, Democrats, like Janet said, she said in this chat that she put up, I'm going to go back to the chat. She said, in my opinion, the Democrats are a criminal organization. All right. So Janet, here's you being right.
indicted for fraud. We're learning more about this Georgia lawmaker. She is accused of illegally collecting pandemic benefits, and you're taking a look at Sharon Henderson. Federal investigators arrested her today. They say she collected nearly $18,000 in unemployment benefits using false information. Federal prosecutors say this happened while Henderson was a political candidate and later while serving in office. They believe she first applied for pandemic unemployment benefits in June 2020. At the time, she was running for a state house seat and claimed she was unemployed because Henry County schools had closed. Prosecutors say that information was false. They say she'd not worked for the school system since briefly serving as a substitute teacher in 2018, and that her employment agreement specifically said substitutes were not eligible for unemployment pay. Now, according to this indictment, Henderson continued certifying weekly benefits into mid-2021, including 8 filings made after she was sworn into office as a state representative for District 113. During those filings, officials say she repeatedly claimed she was unable to work because of pandemic-related issues, but investigators say those statements allowed her to receive $17,811 in benefits she was not entitled to. Now,
so once again, you have yet another Democrat being caught engaging in corruption. All right, that is crazy. Another Democrat caught engaging in corruption. All right, surprise, surprise. Okay, so we have how many Democrats so far caught engaging in corruption? All right, I've lost count. It's almost like every week you have another report of a Democrat engaging in corruption. Hold on, my youngest is here, spoiling my professional live stream. Yes, James.
I need to pee.
Okay, tell Marcus to take you to pee, okay? I'm live streaming. Okay, so close the door. Tell Marcus to tell. All right. Guys, I'm a dad, all right? And he's meant to be in bed. Okay, so let's jump into the chat since my train of thought, my professional train of thought has been destroyed by my parenting. Let's see. Okay, so Janet did say, in my opinion, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they were working with Mexican cartels and narco-terrorists. Yes, Janet said that. Martina Brusas says, I am with the American people that deserve the money that we earned. Okay, so I assume that Martina is saying yes. Yes, no. Go we, please, okay? I'm getting interrupted tonight a lot. All right, so she says, I'm with the American people that deserve the money that we earn. Okay, I'm looking at the clock. 5 more minutes. Okay, take the poll to vote on whether we should activate the call-in feature. With the call-in feature, you get to call in and to react to the stories that we've covered. I am seeing that it is leaning one way, and I am preparing to make public the link to the call in. All right. So let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't see my face. Sorry. I'm just all right. There I am. All right. So let me know what you think in the chat about this story. How many Democrat politicians have been indicted so far about corruption? You have the Democrat last week. Was it 2 weeks ago who was said to have stolen $5 million in Florida for disaster relief? You have Tim Walz and his disaster in Minnesota with Somali businesses robbing the government blind, and then them turning around to make it sound like President Trump being outraged about all of this insanity is him being racist or being obsessed with Ilhan Omar, like she said on her Face the Nation interview. Okay, so let's talk about all of that, okay, because I'm eager to hear what you think about all of this. Is this weaponization of the justice system, or is it the law actually working the way it should? Okay, so let me know in the chat. All right. Now, we're 3 minutes away from a decision on the poll, and I would like to know what you guys think. Okay. Now, Janet says the kids sound cute. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate it. Okay, I appreciate the compliment. Yes, my kids are cute. The youngest is very cute. All right. In fact, I have been told that he is quite the heartbreaker at the daycare. He's been to 2 daycares, and he has been known to be quite the heart stealer. All the caregivers just love on him. Okay, so let's look at the story that may have brought most of you here. All right, and that story is President Trump's legal win. So I'm just going to run the news story, okay? I'm just going to run the news story, and then you guys tell me what you think. Because the Democrats have consistently tried to make President Trump look like, he's breaking the law by enforcing federal law on immigration. Now, let's just listen to this news. It's really simple and it's really short.
Breaking news that we want to bring to you coming out of Oregon, where a panel of judges at the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that the Trump administration can deploy Oregon National Guard troops to Portland.
Now, this is something that they've been fighting for months. They've claimed that President Trump doesn't have the authorization to deploy National Guard troops into Portland. And what we've seen so far is case after case, federal judge after federal judge trying to say that his presidential powers do not extend to using the National Guard to support immigration enforcement. And here we have a bombshell ruling that essentially says, yes, President Trump does have the powers to do that. Right. Now, how do you feel about this? For me, I just think, look, if this is within his presidential powers and this ruling does say it is, then it's good because the members of ICE need protection when they go about doing their jobs. All right. Today we saw videos of people attacking ICE. Okay. Throwing projectiles at ICE. And maybe if we have the time, we can play another video where we see the use of apps to dox ICE agents, threats to a DHS official. And all of this is happening because people don't want federal law enforced. All right. Now, let's look at, it's 9:39 now, and I promised that I would look at the score. Okay, now the score of the poll is 50-50. All right, this is 50-50. All right. If you're wondering what poll I'm talking about, there's a poll up here on the live stream. Okay, if you don't know where the poll is, look around the interface. You see a poll that says yes or no. And the question is, do you want the call-in feature activated tonight? All right. At first, it was 100% yes on the main channel. No one is voting yet on the backup channel. All right. And then here's what's going to happen. If the backup channel says yes, the backup channel gets the call-in link, and you get to call in and ask your questions, or you get to also ask about a different story. If you say no, then nothing happens. Now, we have 50-50 on the main channel. Now, if you're watching right now, okay, you need to put this over. It either has to be a higher score for for a yes or a no. All right. So this is currently a dead heat. All right. This is a dead heat. The first vote to go either way ends that poll on the main channel. Once I see another vote that pushes it over, the poll ends. Okay. One more vote to come in to push it over, then the poll ends, and then we will have a decision. So it is 50-50. We have 50% say yes, they want the call-in feature. Now, what is the call-in feature? The call-in feature is the ability for you to join the live stream and have a conversation with me like you're calling into a radio station. I put up a link on the channel that votes yes for the link to be activated. And then you get the link, you click on it, and then you join the live stream to either make a contribution, a voice contribution to the live stream, or you make a suggestion for a story that we could cover that hasn't been covered during this live stream. So this is something new that I've brought in. All right, the backup channel says a resounding no, so you guys don't get the call-in feature activated. All right, sorry about that, guys. You guys should, if you wanted it to be activated, you should have voted. On the main channel, we still have a dead heat, 50-50. All right, we need someone to push it over. Goodness, this is like calling the result of an election. Okay, but this seems more tense because it's like, okay, 50% of you guys don't want the call-in to be activated. 50% of you do. So who's going to put it over? All right, now this is going to be the first time that we're activating this for our evening live streams. In fact, for our regular live streams. So let's see where this goes. I'm waiting, and it's still it's just stagnant. It's crazy. Okay, so while we wait for that to switch, if you're watching for the first time and you enjoy this live stream and you like the tone of the commentary that we have here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a like. Use the thumbs up icon to leave a like. It tells YouTube to send this video to people like you who enjoy content like this. Or if you don't like the content, leave a dislike, which is a thumbs down that says, YouTube, don't tell anyone like me to see this video. Okay, so that is what I needed to do right now. Now, if you subscribe, please click the bell icon. The bell icon. The bell icon lets you. Sorry, I'm wondering what's going on with my live stream. Nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The bell icon sends a notification to you whenever it's time, whenever I go live. Okay. So whenever I go live, it sends a notification to you to let you know we're live and you should join the live stream. All right. So we're still waiting for the poll to be concluded. This is a nail biter, guys. I don't know why it's taking so long for the main channel to finalize the poll, but it is a nail biter. All right. So we are going to okay, while we're waiting for the poll for the results to come in. All right. What am I looking for? Chat. Okay, so let's talk in the chat. All right, let's talk in the chat. I'm going to be going over some comments on previous live streams. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to go over, guys, don't you want to be part of the show? Or you think it's a bad idea to bring anyone on the show? All right, so I'm waiting on that to switch. Once it switches, we will call out the decision and then we will move forward. This is crazy. It is like calling an election. Okay. On the screen, we have a comment from the comment section. Stuart Joe says, responding to Tim Walz's meltdown. He was melting down about people driving by his house and calling him retard in the middle of the night. And Stewart Joe says, dumbass sounds better, or corrupt TDS, laugh my A off. Okay, so that is his comment about Tim Walz complaining about being called a retard in the middle of the night. Someone driving by and simply screaming retard. James Mascarelli says, lol. Okay, he just laughs and walks away. Okay, Edward Hoyle says totally corrupt and criminal conduct. Still speaking about Tim Walz. And someone puts the poll over by 67%. So we have a winner. All right, guys, we have a winner. Okay, so the guys on the main channel get the call-in link. All right, so I'm going to put the call-in link, and we're going to jump straight into the call-in segment of the live stream. Now, here are the rules. Okay, here are the rules. Let's do our best not to use profanity as much as we're tempted to. Let's try to be as PG 13 as possible. And then now, when you get the link, and the link is on the main channel, it's right there. I'm going to pin it at the top of the screen. All right, I'm replacing the pinned comment. Okay, so it's pinned right now. So click the link. All right, click the link, and then you're going to be connected. You'll need to put your name in, your username, and once you put in your username, I will be notified that you're asking to come in. Now you can disable your camera, all right, if you don't have great lighting or you're not decent. But I think by default for today, because this isn't planned, we're going to leave your camera off. So even if you join, I'm going to leave your camera off. I just need to be very careful. I'm taking a huge risk doing this. All right. So I don't know what to expect, but click on the link, join in, and then you can either contribute to the stories that we've covered, or if there's a story that you think we should be looking at that is relevant to the the current news that's going on in the news cycle, then you can basically bring that up. But if I feel like the conversation is going off the rails, and by going off the rails is like, okay, it's going in a direction that that the audience may not feel comfortable with, or if there's a response in the chat that shows that the chat is not comfortable with where the commentary is going, then the chat reserves the right to say, okay, let's pull the plug on this conversation. All right. So the link is in the chat right now. Okay, so go ahead and click the link. I've given you the rules, and I hope we have some fun tonight. All right, Canary Kin says, working with the kids tonight on homework, so can't fully participate today. That's fine, Canary Kin. It is fine. You usually are very active in the chat, so I understand. Thank you so much for what you do. Okay, so we're having a call-in session. The call-in session essentially is you jumping onto the live stream. And I hope you guys enjoy it, okay? I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm taking a chance, and I hope you all enjoy it. So right now we're in a call-in segment. All right, so I'm waiting for someone to tap on the link. There was a vote that says, yay, I want the call-in. Now, and look, don't be shy, okay? Don't be shy. Don't be shy, okay? It's just consider this you talking with a friend, all right? You're talking with a friend, and you're simply stating your position on certain issues. That's all. I will be kind, I will be polite, and even if you are going off the rails, I will try to guide you. Okay, so I'm not going to embarrass you. Okay, I will not. All right, so I'm still waiting on someone to join in. All right, this is exciting. The poll. So every night or every live stream, I assume every night, we're going to have this poll. Should we do a call in? Should we not do a call in? And then we have the call in. The same instructions would come through, and then we will have. Now, those of you on the backup channel who are watching, okay, do you think that I should have kept the poll going? Okay, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And then you can vote in the chat. Okay, say yes if you want the call-in feature activated. And then you're going to have to vote in the chat. I want to see at least more than 50% of the people I see who are live right now. Okay, so I'm waiting on you guys to respond on the backup channel. The backup channel is the X Roads channel. Okay. All right. So I'm waiting on the first caller to come in. I'm waiting on the first caller to come in. Waiting on the first caller to come in. Now, this is unplanned. All right. But we're doing something fresh. We're doing something new. And I really, in fact, to tell you guys the truth, I've been looking forward to being able to do call-ins for over a year. I've been wanting to do call-ins for over a year, just have conversations with you guys and not just stay in the chat. Chats are interesting. Like, you can do chats, and sometimes you can miss the nuance of people's contributions. But whenever you do a call-in, it is easy to just get the tone, get the heart that the person is trying to pass across. Okay, so let's not slow down the momentum. Okay, while we're waiting, I guess we're going to have to listen to more news about the Democrats trying to sue the federal government. Well, not okay. Let me take that back. Not the Democrats, but you remember that there was this app called the Ice Block application. The Ice Block app was used by people in blue cities to track the movements of ICE, and then eventually the AG asked Apple and Android app stores to take down the app because it was putting national guardsmen and federal agents in danger. Of course, we see that they were right to do that. But you know what? These jokers decided that they want to sue the federal government. So let's just, watch this report and listen to the reason that they're giving about why they want to sue the federal government.
A new showdown over immigration and free speech. The creator of Ice Block, the app designed to let users warn communities about ICE sightings, is now suing the Trump administration. The lawsuit claims that the White House pressured Apple to pull the app from its store, calling that an abuse of government power and a violation of constitutionally protected speech. Named in the lawsuit, a bunch of folks, including Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, the White House border czar Tom Homan. CNN's Claire Duffy is here with me now. Give us some sense of what you're hearing, not only from the administration, but from the creator of this app.
Yeah, so at issue here is this app, Ice Block. It launched earlier this year, and it allows users to notify people in their community of public ICE sightings. And the creator of this app, Joshua Aaron, has always said that this app was designed to allow people to avoid interactions with ICE agents and not to interfere with their activities and their actions. But in October, Apple removed Ice Block and similar apps from the App Store following a request from the Justice Department. Ice Block had around 1 million users at the time, and this movement that new users can't download the app. And at the time, Attorney General Pam Bondi did confirm that she requested that Apple remove this app, saying at the time, Ice Block is designed to put ICE agents at risk just for doing their jobs, and violence against law enforcement is an intolerable red line that cannot be crossed. Trump administration officials also threatened Joshua Aaron with criminal prosecution over.
All right, so they're making it look like this is a free speech issue. But we have a situation where violence has been perpetrated on federal agents. We have one dead National Guardsman. We have situations that arose in California when ICE went to California to enforce federal law, and they were attacked in California. Rocks were thrown at them. There were Molotov cocktails thrown into government buildings, federal buildings. All right, that happened. And they're still trying to make us believe that this is a free speech issue. The government has been very clear that this has always been about safety, the safety of federal agents, and to ensure that people didn't get hurt while going about their duties as federal agents. Now, two New Jersey leftists, now just to give you some perspective, two New Jersey leftists decided that it would be a good idea to essentially threaten to hang the DHS Assistant Secretary, Tricia McLaughlin. Let's have a listen. You know, it's crazy that whenever you see these kinds of things going on, outlets like CNN and everyone else who hates the Trump administration want to make this all about free speech. Meanwhile, people's lives are at stake. They essentially want people to die in order for them to prove a point. And their point is this: if you support the Trump administration, you're in danger and you deserve it.
Two New Jersey brothers under arrest and charged with threatening to hang DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Ricardo Antonio and Emiliano Roman Flores allegedly posted on X that they wanted to torture and kill her. Other social media posts alleged from the brothers' account reportedly referred to shooting ICE agents on site. John.
Well, they are behind bars, thankfully. President.
All right. So we have a statement in the chat. In the chat, Canary King says, Trump has the right to legally address illegal immigration. ICE bloc also has the right to free speech. This isn't a fascist country yet or a third world dictatorship yet. But when that free speech essentially puts the life of people at risk, how do you balance that is my question. How do you balance the fact that there are people out there who want to use this ICE app to track the location of ICE agents, where they're going, and then to show up like you see in this next video? Okay, ICE agents show up to detain an illegal immigrant, and then there is a crowd that shows up to attack them.
You can't be held accountable for your actions. You can't be held accountable for your actions.
So how did they know that ICE was there? You know, and all of this is without the ICE block app. All right. So the question is, and this is all without the ICE block app. All right.
Do not attack the agents.
Essentially, there's a network out there that tracks ICE movements and lets people know where they are going or where they're headed or where they are, and people just show up. So, of course, here you hear the lady saying, do not attack the agents, which is fine. It's great. But we do see other incidents where they are throwing rocks at the agents, getting in their faces, blocking their vehicles, okay? Whenever you start doing that, that isn't a protest anymore. That's a riot. Canary King says, those brothers issued a credible threat and it became a law enforcement issue. They've been arrested. Yes, they have. And it's a good thing. But now conservatives are demanding an immediate investigation about the fact that, they need to know how these protesters know where the ICE agents and border agents are going to be ahead of time. It appears like there's a leak from inside of the DHS. So they're asking for an investigation. But like I said, they're doing this without the ICE app. With the ICE app, they were already doing this. Okay. And they had 1 million downloads according to the report. All right. I absolutely see, Canary King says, I absolutely see nothing wrong with protests. Two opposing sides to gain victory. That's all well and good until someone gets hurt. Okay, saying yes, we're all for protest, but until someone gets hurt. And do we need to wait until someone gets hurt before we start taking some of these things seriously? And one of the things that that Patricia said, and I keep calling back her statement, where she made a very vital statement that says that the people in the Democrat Party who push some of these extreme actions want problems to be created by those extreme actions. By the time you figure out what they're trying to do, the problem has already been created. Okay, for example, they created a problem of a surge of illegal immigrants into the country. These illegal immigrants surged the country. Conservative count puts that at 10 million illegal aliens. And now the Trump administration is trying to get rid of the problem, and they're crying that him trying to fix that problem, which they caused, is him being racist and xenophobic. So whenever I see that insanity happening, it's just clear that, like Janet said, this is the party of criminals and crime. Okay. Now, so far, no one has taken me up on the call in, and I am quite sad that that hasn't happened. Okay. I had high hopes that someone would join the call in and would actually have a conversation. All right. So maybe someone out there is thinking someone else is going to do it. All right. Janet, are you going to be the one to take the call in? Okay. Canary King is busy with the kids. Okay. I happen to be live streaming, but you heard my kids walk in. So sometimes we try to walk and chew gum at the same time, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. Okay. So you heard my kids come in, and that was fun. But let me know if, just click the link, do the call in. Okay, so we're going to be opening up the live streams from now on with the poll being announced so that people, get involved. Canary King says there must be a snitch. Well, definitely there's someone in there that is informing on these movements. Canary King said, freedom isn't free. And that is the truth. Canary King also says Trump is doing a good job in addressing illegal immigration. For now, it's mostly for photo ops, but eventually they'll get very sophisticated. Are you referring to the people opposing the immigration enforcement, or are you referring to President Trump? Okay, let me know in the chat. Now, I would like for you to please, all right, if you're still watching, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Hit the like button to let YouTube know that you're enjoying this content. And again, I would like you to please consider supporting the channel by leaving a super thank or a super chat. Okay, that helps us keep the lights on. Your views are very important. Your chats are very important. They help with all that we're trying to do. But in the end, we need to be able to keep the lights on. This is essentially me being a full-time YouTuber. I am going to be doing this full-time for the foreseeable future, and your support in being able to donate or be a member of the channel, or essentially, contributing financially to support the channel will be greatly appreciated. I am a one-man operation. I do all the research. I prep for the show. and I do the presentation and engagement, everything. I do I produce the live stream myself. I don't have a big team. But with that, I still have a budget, and I still have, bills that need to be covered. So your support financially will be appreciated. But if you can't do that, it's okay. You being here and watching is support enough. So thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the channel. All right. So Canary King clarifies that ICE will get very sophisticated soon. Okay, eventually they will. Eventually they'll level up FBI style. Yeah, I assume. But I think that what the Democrats are essentially doing is that they are waging a war of attrition. They are trying to wear out the Trump administration. They're trying to head off the Trump administration at every turn. Everywhere they can, they try to insert themselves and assert themselves in order to make it look like the Trump administration is failing. There are people out there who believe that the Trump administration isn't succeeding at dealing with the illegal immigration enforcement in these blue cities. That for every blue city where they go, they keep getting a lot of resistance and protests, and that is a sign that they are losing. Now, they made a point by saying that the reason why it appears that they are losing is that the protests that are happening in these blue cities are so overwhelmingly coordinated. Now, there are people who claim that it's a Soros thing. There are other people who believe that it is not. But what I believe is that conservatives or Republicans do need to consider using some of these tools. And when I say tools, I mean the tools of protest. Okay, that I think counter protests might be a good idea. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I saw counter protests happening in Portland. All right, there were counter protests in Portland, and they went a long way towards diluting the momentum of the anti-ICE protests that were happening there. Okay, so it helped out a whole lot to douse the concentration of protesters at Portland. Let's see. Canarican says Trump is a tough cookie. He isn't bothered by this. He's also a New Yorker. He's trolling these guys, sending ICE to blue cities. I agree that President Trump is doing his own bit to trigger the blue cities or the Democrats. Okay. Now, guys in the chat, what do you think? Okay. I'm a bit, to be honest, I'm a bit sad that we weren't able to have a call-in today. I'm just like, oh, I wish we could do the call-in. And everyone is just so sad. Okay, I get it. I now understand what's going on. Okay. You guys are anxious. Okay. The first time it's like, okay, yeah, let's do a call-in, and then the link gets sent out, and then it's like, oh, I was hoping someone else would do the call-in, not me. All right, so I get it. So I was hoping that we could do the call-in. But it's fine. We're going to continue to make this available. Eventually, we're going to make this available every day, every live stream. We're going to say, do you want us to do a call-in? There's a vote that happens. And so one brave soul is going to hit the call-in button and, use it to ask a question, make a comment, and kick this off. Okay. Canary King is promising that he's going to be part of a series of call-ins. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to us being able to have these conversations, in real time. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this for over a year. But if I'm being honest, I've been wanting to do this for 3 years. I've said, look, when I had my audio only podcast, I was like, I need to grow this podcast to the point where I can have call-ins on the podcast. But that was over 3 years ago. So I've been looking forward to this. So I'm excited. And you know what? Like you, I'm anxious too. I'm anxious to see what it's going to be like to have you, Janet, Canary King, Tony, Patricia. Like I'm trying to remember all of you who have been supporting the channel with your views and your contributions and your time. Like you guys have been, showing up, and essentially you've become a part of the channel. Oh, I remember that there are a couple of stories I haven't covered. 1 second. Did you know that the Democrats are at it again? All right. They see that President Trump is winning on the economy. Gas prices are falling. He's winning on the immigration issue. He's winning on the corruption issue with Minnesota being in the spotlight. And at the same time, I think Minnesota is a double whammy with corruption and immigration, because some of the people who are in that scandal happen to have some immigration skeletons in their closet. He's winning, and it's not looking good for the Democrats. And when the Democrats aren't doing well, what do? Epstein. Like, look, guys, I want us to start expecting them to pull an Epstein every time something happens that isn't in their favor. All right. So Robert Garcia claims that Trump has chosen to cover up the Epstein files. Like, they haven't learned their lesson yet.
The president has the power right now to release all the files, yet he has chosen essentially to lead a White House cover-up on the Epstein files. Every piece of information that's been released to the public, where it's been that birthday notebook that Donald Trump said didn't exist, whether it were the emails that we got released a couple of weeks ago that clearly raised more questions about the relationship between the president and Jeffrey Epstein, all of those were released because the Oversight Committee received those from different places, whether it was the Epstein estate, whether it's talking to survivors. The DOJ has actually given us nothing. They have all of the information that we need to get justice for the survivors, and most importantly, find these men who did these horrific things and hold them accountable. So we're calling again on the president and the attorney general to release the files today. They want to wait till the 19th, then they can wait till the 19th per the law, but they have the power to do so right now. They should.
So essentially, he knows, Representative Garcia knows, that these files are meant to be released on the 19th. That is the deadline. But TDSBC, I don't care if they call themselves MS Now, all right? TDSBC decides that they're going to have him on to whine and complain that he wants his birthday present now. That's essentially what he's doing. Yes, they promised that they were going to release the files on January 19th, but I want it now. Else I'm going to go on TDSBC and claim that everyone is trying to do a cover-up. Wah. That's essentially what he's doing. That is essentially what he's doing. Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to all right, I'm going full screen. Oh, so let me know what you think about this, because Janet says, in spite of the paid resistance. Okay, hold on. There's a juicy story at the end. I'm like, oh, this story. Janet says, in spite of the paid resistance, I think the Trump administration is doing a great job on immigration. The Val media pushes false narratives. Yeah, they're all about narratives. They're all about narratives. You know, this afternoon, I had this experience, and Canary King knows about the experience, and Patricia, I think Patricia isn't on tonight. You know, they were there when a couple of people on the backup channel basically surged the channel and just had TDS diarrhea all over the chat. And I have a commitment towards responding to comments and the chat. Okay. Oh, Janet, where are you streaming from? You said you've enjoyed the live stream. It's bedtime where you are. So I must say good night, everyone. Maga, where are you streaming from? I'm curious now. It's bedtime where you are. Let me know where you're streaming from. Please let me know. I'm excited to know if you're in Europe, Africa, who knows, Greenland. Okay, so now if I'm having people joining so late wherever it is they are, then okay, now it takes a few seconds. It takes a few seconds for people who are streaming to get to where I am. So maybe she's already gone to bed, so who knows? But I hope she responds. I'm curious to know where she's chatting from. Maybe I should open the live streams with asking where everyone is watching from. All right, but I do know where a few of you are watching from. Okay, so and I lost my train of thought because I was trying to catch Janet before she left the stream. Okay, so woo, Massachusetts is about an hour. Is it an hour or two? Is it an hour or is it the same? Anyway, who knows? All right, and it's cold. Yeah, it's -10 over here too. It's -10. Well, thank you, Janet, for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope you join tomorrow. All right, and I hope that eventually we can have you on a live call in. We are looking forward to hearing all your voices, letting you know, and hearing your position on policy and every other thing. Thank you for your takes. Thank you for contributing to the live stream. Have a great night. Hope to see you again in the stream, and looking forward to that. Oh, and I just realized that you're also one of the mods on the channel. Okay, so Janet is one of the mods on the channel. Okay, so thank you, Janet. All right, Janet, since you're a mod on the channel, okay, if you're watching, send me an email when you can. Send an email to this address, okay? I need to see if you're going to be able to join us for a group chat, okay? I'm chatting with some of the consistent super fans, okay? So I'm wondering if you're interested in being a part of that. Just send a message to this email address, okay? I'm going to leave the email address on the screen. Okay, so I want to talk to the mods and some of and the members and a few people who are actually working closely with me to kind of make the channel better. So send me an email. Just say, hi, this is Janet. That's all I need to see. And, you know, I'll basically give you the lowdown and see if there's something that you're interested in. There are a few of us in the group chat right now. We just started it today. So you're not missing, you haven't missed anything. We're just starting off something to just have a conversation around what the channel is going to look like. So, and we have some other ideas. So I hope you see this before you turned off the stream. Okay, so where were we? Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett has announced that she wants to run for Senate. She's making a run for a Senate seat. And she kicks off her campaign by saying, I don't need half the voters of Texas. Essentially, she's doing what Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton did. She's calling half of Texas a basket of deplorables. She doesn't need them to win. Let's have a listen.
That you will fight for them. How will you make voters who previously voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many.
All right. So essentially, she says she doesn't need to convert Trump voters. Okay. And is that a winning strategy? Let me know in the chat if you think that this is a winning strategy, or she has any chance. Does she have a chance at converting any Trump voter? Does she have a chance to converting anyone who voted for Trump? Let me know in the chat. All right. So we're 20 minutes over the hour mark. We've covered a bunch of stories. We got a little sidetracked with trying to get the call-in link going. We got it going because the votes came in and eventually the link went out. But a few of you decided not to use the call-in link. We're going to continue to be bold about this. We're going to continue to reach out and make sure that you guys have the opportunity to make your voice heard, your voices heard. We're going to continue to make this offer every single day. Okay. I was looking forward to today being that day when we put out the call-in link and you guys respond by calling in and being a part of the commentary. We're going to continue doing that. All right. The character of the show is actually the audience. You guys are the main characters of this show. All right. Not me, not the news, you guys, because when I do my commentary on the news, it's just my commentary. All right. Where the rubber hits the road is what your perceptions of the story is. What do you perceive this narrative is trying to skew towards? What do you think the real story is? And let's have a conversation about it. I can think one thing, but you know what? What I think essentially may not necessarily count. And I want to be honest. I don't think it counts much because I'm an immigrant of Canada. I don't live in the United States. So these are my thoughts because I believe that the United States controls a lot about what happens across the world. And so I pay attention to what happens to the United States. Heck, I know more about US politics than Canadian politics. I don't even pay attention to Canadian politics because I don't want to have an opinion on Canadian politics. That is the truth. So I stay away from Canadian politics. I don't want to accidentally say anything about Canadian politics. So I stay away from it. I don't know anything reasonable about Canadian politics. I can't even have conversations with my friends who are Canadian about Canadian politics because I don't know that much. But US politics I have been watching for years and years. So I talk about this because I believe that it means something. It means something for me to talk about this for the sake of my kids, for the sake of their kids, for my sanity, you know. But again, I found you guys have found me, and I think it is something that we can talk about and connect on. And I believe that this is a special moment where no matter who you are, how you vote, where you live across the world, we can have common sense conversations, good faith, common sense conversations, and share our ideas. There are times when we're having these conversations, and you know what? We may have to agree to disagree, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to call you a demon. I'm not going to call you a bigot. I'm not going to call you narrow-minded. I'm not going to call you a snowflake. I won't. I would respect that your arguments are your own, as long as you don't try to weaponize, your language against me or against the chat. That's fine. We can have a conversation and choose where we disagree. Okay. This afternoon was a case in point where you have one party trying to have a good faith conversation and the other party just trying to win an argument. They weren't essentially trying to win an argument. They were not having an argument. They were simply having TDS diarrhea all over the chat. I feel like I made a mistake. Okay, so for those of you who saw what happened, I walked away from that feeling like I made a mistake. If you're watching and this is your first time, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, please. I would love to have you keep coming back and let me know your thoughts in the chat. I can see people in the backup channel and they're not chatting. All right, so these guys came this afternoon and had TDS diarrhea all over the chat. I walked away from this afternoon's chat feeling a bit awkward. I felt like I was being kind and polite in the chat, and I didn't attack anyone. I composed myself. I kept my cool. I stayed on topic. I tried to have a good faith conversation with them. But what then happened was, while I was trying to have a good faith conversation with them, they constantly attacked me. Okay, they just kept putting it was like I was trying to have a conversation and they kept spamming the chat. They kept spamming the chat with their own position and they didn't want to listen to anything else I had to say. So what did I do then? I had to simply move on with the conversation. There was nothing else to be said, if I'm being honest about it. Okay, so these are the kinds of things that tend to happen whenever someone who is conservative steps out and says, okay, here's what I think. And then people who are not conservative appear to want to lean heavily on their convictions about Trump. Like I was talking about the drug boats and how these drugs were being prevented from getting to the United States and killing American citizens. And all they kept spewing onto the chat was, do you know Trump did this? Do you know Trump's spies were hiring underage girls? I was like, how is that the conversation? And you know what? Most of the time you go and dig into these conversations and they're all lies. So I felt bad. Now, you guys in the chat, what do you think? Should I have ignored them, or should I continue to stay true to my convictions and essentially continue to engage in the chat? Okay, should I have ignored them, or should I have stayed true to the convictions that I have and engaged with them in the chat? All right, that's a question that I would like you to answer, because I felt that it was weird for me to ignore them. It would be against the tenets of what I believe the channel, should be pushing. The channel should be pushing free discourse, open conversation, and good faith dialogue. There are times when those of us here who believe conservative values still disagree on certain things, but we don't become enemies because we disagree. All right. So whenever I see good faith conversation happening in the chat, we have people who have joined, who have subscribed to the backup channel, who don't agree essentially with voting for a Republican candidate, but we have had good faith conversations in the chat. And I think a couple of them subscribed. I was shocked to find that someone subscribed on the backup channel after how I felt was a disastrous conversation that happened coming from the backup channel. It was all spam, all TDS spam. So let me know in the chat tonight, what should I do going forward? If someone comes into the chat and has verbal diarrhea or TDS diarrhea in the chat, should I ignore them, or B, try to engage in a good faith conversation while they're having their TDS and ignore that they're actually trying to rope me into an unreasonable conversation? Canary King says, tension is interesting. Nothing wrong with different beliefs. Viewers are very smart. Each person can make up their own minds. And that is what I believe. I believe that this channel, and I say this again and again, and sometimes I ask myself, do I really believe that the audience is the main character of this show. And I honestly do believe it. Every time I say it, I ask myself, do I really believe this? And I honestly believe it. You guys are the audience of the show. All right, come and say good night to. So you guys who stayed this long, this is the heartbreaker that, all right, say good night. Just say good night. All right. So go to bed, okay? All right. You guys tell Janet she missed seeing the superstar. All right. To bed. Go to bed. I'm live streaming. I'm talking with my my online friends, okay? Bye. He should be in bed. Okay. So you guys have met my youngest, and he seems to have a lot of energy. I think they gave him candy or something tonight. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so whenever I say you guys are the main character of the show, I mean it. There was a time when I felt that, you know, the news was the main character. But the more I engage with you guys in the chat after the commentary, I figured out that you guys are the main characters. And I have to figure out a way to keep it that way while engaging with good faith discussions with you. So that's why the call-in feature is so important. Okay, so that you understand how important some of the direction we're taking with the channel tie in with this ethos of you being the main characters. All right, so my hope is that we get to hear your voices, get to hear your opinions, and get to engage. So I do agree that the viewers are very smart. And I do agree that we're going to run into some great minds while we're having these conversations. It will be stunning to see what we experience. Let's see. Canarican says, it depends on the nature of the comments. It does. It does. Well, you're telling my son good night, right? I'll let him know that if he recognizes that you said good night. He's just shy and shocked. He doesn't even know what's going on. Maybe someday he'll watch this live stream and he's like, oh, that was me when I was still a toddler. All right. Now, so Jasmine Crockett says she doesn't need the Republican vote. All right. So let's see if her strategy pays off. Again, we hope that the Republicans in Texas come out and make sure they vote for this. Sometimes we see Republicans only focus on the presidency, but they lose out on everything else. And that, I think, is one of the strategies I believe has to be adjusted. Right? This strategy has to be adjusted. Okay. So, let's see. I think we've gone through virtually all the stories. Yeah, we've gone through all the stories. We've talked about the gas prices plummeting. We've talked about CNN fake news trying to claim that the economic numbers are not what we've seen so far, that there's something else. We've seen Democrats being hypocritical about fentanyl being shipped across into the United States. We've seen the Trump administration essentially saying, if you hate the United States and do not support us, you will not get a dime of our taxpayer money, which I am all for. I was hoping to hear someone's take on it in the call-in session, but that didn't happen. We looked at Democrat corruption with the representative from Georgia being indicted for fraud. We were hoping to run into stories about Tim Walz, but maybe we'll reserve that for the next live stream or tomorrow night's live stream. And we also covered the ICE Block app issue and put it side by side with what we do know about the protests that keep following ICE agents everywhere across the country. And then we finalized with Jasmine Crockett. This was a full docket. we were able to go through the stories. The interjection with talking about the call-in feature kind of was a bit of a lull, but it's growing pains, it's teething moments where we're trying to figure out how to get stuff done in the live stream. All right, so I see a super fan on the backup channel. I see you. You haven't said anything all through this live stream. Can you just say, okay, can you just say hi? Because I really want to get to meet you. All right. You've been watching, you've liked the video. And I'm not sure if you're who I think you are, because I know that there's someone who always shows up on the backup channel. All right. You're always there. So just say hi so I can basically recognize you. I want to be able to, relate to every single person who is a super fan. Now, if you can stay from the beginning of the live stream to the end of the live stream, I consider you a super fan. All right. That is my position. Okay, so I've seen one person staying on the live stream end to end, liked the live stream, and you're just sticking around. Okay, just let me know you're there. All right, guys. Tomorrow we're going to be back again at noon Eastern, and we're going to be back yet again at 10 p.m. Eastern. I have announced that we're opening weekend live streams. Weekend live streams will be happening 10 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. 10 p.m. Oh, sorry, I keep saying 10 p.m. That's my time. 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays and Sundays. And so I'm inviting you to be part of that additional move, because I found out that we build up some momentum. By Friday, we've kind of crested on the momentum, and then I have a weekend and everything just, kind of goes to bed. Then by Monday, it's like we're trying to build up that momentum all over again. I had a talk with my wife, and she's with me on this because this essentially is now my full-time job, and we're trying to make this work. We're trying to make this pay the bills. Okay. I always leave this conversation to the very end. Those of you who stick around to the very end, get to see this side of me. All right, the vulnerable side of me. So we've had this conversation, and I told her, look, we have to make this this channel or my live streaming pay the bills. Okay. Now, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to monetize content. It's not easy to even stay online, be live, and be interesting to anyone. The fact that you get to stay all the way to the end tells me that you find me interesting, or at worst, intriguing. You're wondering, okay, so what's this guy about? Maybe. But let me know in the chat if you find me intriguing or interesting. Okay, intriguing being strange. Let me see where this goes. Interesting being I am entertained and I want to stay here, and I intend to be here until this channel blows up, because I know it's going to blow up. That is interesting. Intriguing is not sure yet what to make of this channel, and I'll see. I'm just curious. I might dip out if he's not what he claims he is. So let me know in the chat, because I'm curious. Okay. So I've spoken with her, and I said to her, okay, I need to start live streaming over the weekend. I started out with streaming once every day at noon Eastern. And then I moved over to twice a day, but I removed the possibility of weekend streaming. And then with some of the changes in my career, all right, I decided, okay, since this is essentially my full-time job right now, I need to double down and take it very seriously. And that's why we began to stream twice a day, and with some of the adjustments we got an update. It's gonna, my 9 to 5 career in a regular workspace isn't going to happen for a while. So I have to include weekends. And so we included Saturday nights and Sunday nights. And the jury is still out, but I might also include afternoons on Saturdays. Okay, so those are the advancements that are happening on the channel. They're taking place. The channel is evolving. I am evolving. My take on the news, my presentation is evolving. The way the channel works is evolving. Eventually, because we're going to be doing lots of call-ins, we might have to pick only maybe 2 heavy-duty stories. And then as the call-in builds, we may now do 50-50, is 50% of commentary, then 50% of the call-ins. Okay, then eventually it might be, well, I am aiming for 50-50. I'm aiming for 50-50. Call-ins 50%, news commentary 50%, because I believe strongly that we are the news. All right, we can read what's going on in the news, but what would it look like for us to be covering a story about an ICE protest in Chicago, and someone who lives in Chicago calls in to describe what they saw, and then someone else who lives there calls in to either corroborate or give a different view of that incident? Wouldn't that be great? Like, there's so much potential to that, and I'm hoping that we're able to get there very soon. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of live streaming. We're going to be doing, okay, I'm going to go full screen. YouTube broke out a new feature that allows me to live stream in 16, anyway, this vertical format, and it's only active on the main channel. So I'm looking at it, and all I'm seeing is the middle of the screen without my face on it. So I have to go full screen in order to bring my face onto the screen for those who are watching on the vertical format. Okay. So guys, everyone has been great. Everyone has been supportive. Guys, I enjoy hanging out with you guys so much. I'm going to try to tighten, like I've done my best to tighten the live stream. I can do a 1-hour live stream. I can even do a 40-minute live stream. I can do those things. But with us aiming for more engagement, okay, we had some engagement tonight. We did have a lot of engagement. And whenever we have engagement, the question I always have is, should I shed the rest of the news that it was meant to be covered, or should I keep going and cover all the news? Okay, doing that endangers the live stream to make it longer, and it could appear bloated to people. We had Janet, who was following the live stream, had to go to bed. And now the question returns about timing. Should I make the live stream earlier? So if this keeps happening, where we go long and then we start having drop-offs, I'm going to have to move the live stream to be earlier so that we can have more people join, more people engage, and not have it be something that doesn't carry for a lot of people. So you guys get the spiel at the very end of the live stream, and I just wanted to let you guys know that all of that is coming. These are things that are coming, and then, like I did say earlier, we are working on certain things, and we're going to be announcing some adjustments very soon. All right, so stay tuned, and we will be revealing a number of changes not bad changes, but upgrades to the channel. All right, guys. Thanks for being a part of tonight's live stream. It was super fun. And I would like to see you tomorrow at noon Eastern. And we're going to be back again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. All right. So have a great night. Rest well. Good night. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, God bless you. Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together.